Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And before we get started on the YouTube, in the YouTube description area, the SoundCloud description area for this podcast, on my website, the China Rising website, there's all kinds of ways to support my many hours of research, writing, and producing. There is a PayPal, Patreon, and fundraiser. A guy last week sent me $5 and I was like doing handstands because it means so much to me when people, even if it's $1, it really gives me a psychological boost. And it gives my wife a psychological boost too, because she is the definitive keyboard widow. So please, before you get started here, make a contribution to support this website, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you. This one is in we're not in China today. Well, we are sort of, kind of. This one's in America. Protests in USA, land of the Marlboro Man, will come to nothing because there is no solidarity, no vision, nor guiding ideology to unite the people in common struggle against the 1%. Pictured above, the Black Panthers took a working tour in China in September 1971, 5 months before US President Richard Nixon's historic visit. Here they are on the Great Wall outside Beijing, enjoying a beautiful northern China autumn day. All right, here we go. Thanks to my interview with Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., I've been doing a lot of research about the Black empowerment movement in the United States. One salient fact is that the Black Panther Party is organized and united behind a visionary guiding ideology based on socialism, especially Mao Zedong thought. To wit, power to the people, serve the people, self-determination for the people. The Black Panther Party is the revolutionary vanguard party of the people. The Black Panthers admired, respected, and were inspired by Mao Zedong thought because it made Marxism-Leninism relevant to the, in parentheses, poor, end of parentheses, people of color, America's equivalent of China's pre-liberation toiling masses of oppressed peasants. The 4-volume collected works of Mao Zedong is required reading for all Black Panther members. The Black Panthers sold countless thousands of copies of Mao's Little Red Book on the streets of America to finance their self-defense and later social programs. In fact, the Black Panthers beat Richard Nixon to China, traveling there in the fall of 1971, meeting Zhou Enlai. In the 1930s, Paul Robeson publicly sang China's eventual national anthem, Chilai, to audiences in America. Black empowerment leader W.E.B. Du Bois, Webb Du Bois, traveled to China in 1959 and gave a speech in Beijing while celebrating his 91st birthday. In the 1960s, Robert F. Williams, and he was a lawyer for the Black Panthers. Robert F. Williams and his wife lived there for 3 years, and both he and Du Bois met Chairman Mao. Mao was so impressed with these revolutionary leaders that he published 2 essays in their support. With all this Chinese communist-socialist inspiration to work with, it was not hard for the Black Panthers to develop a visionary guiding ideology. Thus, they rally around their simple, timeless, it's called the Black Panthers 10-point program. Number 1, we want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our black and oppressed communities. Number 2, we want full employment for our people. Number 3, We want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our black and oppressed communities. Number 4, we want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings. Number 5, we want decent education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present-day society. Number 6, we want completely free health care for all black and oppressed people. Number 7, we want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people, other people of color, all oppressed people inside the United States. Number 8, we want an immediate end to all wars of aggression. Number 9, we want freedom for all black and oppressed people now held in U.S. federal, state, county, city, and military prisons and jails. We want trials by a jury of peers for all persons charged with so-called crimes under the laws of this country. Number 10, we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, peace, and people's community control of modern technology. That's the end of the bullet 10 points. And here is a PDF poster suitable for framing, which I have included. I don't know about you, but it sounds like a great plan for all Americans, as well as everyone else in your Wrangler land. With all due respect to the visionary revolutionary Black Panther Party, just remove the word, quote, black, end of quote, from the list above, and presto, the 99% has a manifesto for social justice and, well, socialism. The ongoing protests engulfing the United States will come to naught without a unified vision and a guiding ideology like the 10-point plan above. The closest that this was recently realized was Occupy Wall Street in 2011. There are lots of explanations as to why it failed, but in general the blame is laid on it being splintered into, quote, 100 focus groups, end of quote, including one of the oligarchs' great destroyers of hope, identity politics. As well, every movement that tries to support the 99% at the expense of the 1% is guaranteed to be infiltrated by the CIA, FBI, ATF, local police, and thousands of phony Soros, Omidyar NGOs, or that generation's ABC soup equivalents. They always work closely with their partners in institutional crime, the mafia. These same saboteurs always bring drugs, alcohol, and guns to get those involved fucked up in the head and attacking each other. These state actors always stage false flags, creating and financing fake for and against groups using paid protesters, terrorism, violence, vandalism, and looting in order to justify brutal government repression. They bribe, extort, and blackmail non-stop. They use psyops to split movements into feuding factions and pit groups versus groups, leaders against leaders. They, of course, own and operate the government, corporate, mainstream media, and using their big lie propaganda machine, BLPM, destroy the image and reputation of all enemy movements to brainwash the masses to fear and loathe them, affecting even the people in same said movements. And if all else fails, they assassinate or frame to imprison key people to, as the Chinese say, cut off the snake's head. The same thing happened to every black empowerment movement going back to Marcus Garvey and Webb Du Bois with their Pan-Africanism in 1900. You can even go back starting in the 1880s with the prairie populist, communist, socialist, and labor movements. The same oligarch's imperial toolbox has been used for over 100 years to effectively and brutally crush them into non-existence. The Achilles heel for any movement in the United States which might permanently bring social and economic justice to the 99%, always has been and still is its, quote, what I call the Marlboro Man ethic, which is me, myself, I go it alone. It is glorified, admired, and exalted. Sorry to say, but outside groups like the Black Panthers, 95% of U.S. citizens would not know the meaning of solidarity if it slapped them in the face, which is, quote, us, ourselves, we sacrifice together. Solidarity is the heart and soul of communism-socialism, which is why no matter how many tens of billions of dollars your Anglo-land burns, how sky-high it piles on illegal, genocidal crimes against humanity, sanctions, blockades, asset seizures, boycotts, false flags, and military threats, it cannot turn free and independent peoples in China, DPRK, Vietnam, Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, and elsewhere into colonial global capitalist whores. These nations' peoples have a common vision, collective purpose, and guiding ideology, communism and or socialism in solidarity and mutual sacrifice. Can Americans overcome this deleterious Marlboro Man defect ingrained in their sociocultural DNA? Can they embrace real, meaningful, unifying solidarity? Can they do it while keeping capitalism as their economic system? This is truly the $64,000 question. Russians have probably come closest to succeeding with their anti-imperial, mixed-state private system. Or is socialism the only way to achieve true justice for the U.S.'s long-suffering 99%? My fellow Americans, and I could also say Europeans, the Black Panthers already have, in solidarity, a visionary guiding ideology crystallized in a simple 10-point program which people of all colors and creeds can embrace. You know the 1% are going to try to subvert, suborn, divide, and destroy you and everything you do, so you have to struggle through all that, just like the Chinese, Cubans, Iranians, and millions of freedom-fighting comrades do around the world every day. I'll be watching and reporting from outside the BLPM's Great Western Firewall, the GWF, so stay tuned. Good luck, and dare I say, power to the people! This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland, signing out. Have a wonderful day.